y'all, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Rhonda. Tonight we're gonna get into a little Real Housewives of Atlanta. Before we do that, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and tell a friend or two or 10 or 1,000. 1,000 would be good. Anyway, Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 6. The show opens with, mommy moments. Candy and Ace, they're having a little cute moment. Ace is adorable, so, he's always fun to watch. He's practicing a new language. I think it was Japanese. Kids, all the kids like the Japanese stuff. I know mine do. Sonia is on FaceTime with her husband, and Deuce is wilding out. Deuce is always wilding out. That's what happens when you have little boys. Ace is very chill, but Ace is older. Deuce is like, he'd be on one. So anyway, real cute. Kenya and Marlo are having a FaceTime. They're talking about how sad it is. The charade got stood up by Tyrone, and that they should do something for her. They, are planning a girls' day with her. Cupcakes and massages and all of these things to help her get over her heartbreak with Tyrone, I guess. Sheree's at home. She's sad. She's walking around the house with her PJs, like folding clothes and being depressed. Her daughter comes to visit, and they talk about the whole way everything played out with Tyrone after he left her sitting there at the restaurant out in the cold for hours. He called her the next day, like, what's up? Like, nothing is, just, like niggas do. That's what they do. He take your temperature. And clearly you ain't mad. You ain't mad because you're talking about you still thinking about it. So I'm just, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Ain't nobody, believing this whole bullshit with Sheree and Tyrone. I mean, if you want to get to 50 and be pondering over some lame ass nigga that's standing you up outside a restaurant that just got out of prison, go ahead, girl. But to me, I'm not buying it. Kenya meets up with Drew for lunch. Now that's funny. They're friends now. They're friends considering just the other day when they were in New York and Kenya was talking to Sonia, she was saying how Ralph and Drew be lying and double talking, and she doesn't know what they, what they talking about. But anyway, they're friends now. So they're discussing the trip to New York. Kenya said that she stayed a little bit after, stayed a couple days after, so Brooklyn can spend time with her father. She said Brooklyn spent the night with her father for the first time, and Brooklyn is 3 years old and she's never spent the night with her father. Kenya, I have a feeling it's time for you to get off the help Mark alone train. It seems like Kenya is doing all the work, and I don't know what Mark is doing, but it's all a setup. It's all a setup for Brooklyn. So I say don't get her used to something that's not ever really going to exist unless you run it behind him to make sure it happens, because you won't get your own life if you're running behind this clown trying to make him into a, I don't know, fairy tale daddy. It's not necessary. She gonna figure out who he is. So Drew is grateful that Kenya spoke up for her at the dinner that they were having when she, spoke on her behalf to Ralph. And, Kenya was concerned that she was overstepping. She didn't want to do that. But Kenya, but Drew was very grateful to her for that. Then Kenya starts whining about the sex toys again. Okay, we get it. You didn't want to have your coochie vibrated by a stranger. I wouldn't either. Okay. She brought up Sonia and how Drew's husband was over there buzzing Sonia's coochie. Drew is confused by whatever is going on with Sonia. She said that Sonia is trying to make up an issue with her, and then she actually, if she has an issue with her, she can't communicate it. And I think that's true. the way Sonia expresses her feelings, she puts it on the whole thing with Sheree. It's not about Sheree. It's about you deciding to keep a messy assistant around that would spread rumors about your friends or your acquaintances or what have you. To her, that's not a good look. So she's judging you based on that. It's not necessarily anything to do with Sheree, it's how you move it. I don't think she's saying it that way. So it comes across like, plus, okay, so Sonia and Kenya have this whole conversation about Drew and her what do you call it? Her dropping with Drew situation, which Kenya brought that up too at dinner. She was bringing things up as if Sonia was saying all of this stuff and like not how she was actually participating in the conversation. But Sonia had a whole conversation in New York with Kenya about her feeling like Drew being messy, and the whole thing with Drop It with Drew and how it didn't seem legit considering Drew had surgery to lose weight, and that whole thing was not coming off clear. It was just some things that had happened along the way. Then at the baby's birthday party, she put her hand in Sheree's face. She met Drew in one way, and now Drew is exercising all these behaviors that she finds concerning. She had that conversation with Kenya, and so when she met these ladies, they was arguing about who didn't tell who what. So she probably figured, if I'm gonna say something to this girl, I'm gonna say it now before somebody else gets a chance to. Okay. Is Sonia attaching herself to Candy and Kenya on some fake shit? Could be. I don't know. I'm just going based on what I see. I don't find that if you meet Drew and then you start seeing her for her true colors and you want to back off of her, then that part I'm not mad at Sonia about. So it is what it is. She talks about her inviting her to this Mommy Nation photo shoot. So Sonia has a blog, a mommy blog that she's promoting. And I mean, they all promote some, so she bringing her Mommy Nation on here. And she had invited Drew to come participate, and Drew and her kind of got on the outs. And so then she uninvited her and told her that that wasn't the best place. They still have some things that they needed to like iron out. She didn't want to iron it out there, so she then like rescinded her invitation. If it's business and you don't really want that kind of energy at your work, I'm not mad at that either. Like she didn't say you can't come. She said, let's just pause on this until we figure out what we're doing. I also feel like that could have happened in a conversation like her and Drew. Not her and Drew. I'm gonna put this on Sonia. Sonia, if you gotta, express to this girl what you really thought, you could give her a call and y'all could, meet up for lunch privately or what have you. But we're gonna drag it out. So, because for the show. So Sonia also like bamboozled Kenya into working for her basically. So so we're no longer at the lunch with Drew and Kenya. They talk shit about Sonia, what have you, and we, move on. We move on to the photo shoot where Sonia actually bamboozled Kenya into doing a photo shoot. Now, I don't think this is cool at all. I think like you're not gonna trick me into promoting your business without having a discussion with me. That's not cool. You had them come up there, Candy and Kenya, and you had them take pictures for you to promote your business. We didn't discuss that. Like I get paid for that kind of shit. And it's not to say I wouldn't do it for you, but I feel like you owe me the common courtesy of telling me like this is what your plan is. Let me decide if it's what I want to do. I would have felt to be, and I mean, plus they're new friends. Like these are people that you're supposed to be getting to know them, and you're gonna get to know them by saying, hey, let me use your celebrity to promote my business on Black Friday. So they're standing there talking and they're discussing like how are the other ladies gonna feel. She had told Candy that basically that she uninvited Drew. Kenya already knew about that, and she, they're asking her like, how are the other ladies gonna feel about not being invited to participate? And Sonny was like, I don't think they would take it personally, only Drew, and that's because it was initially supposed to be her anyway. But she said she wants to have a girls' night and have a dinner so that they can, that everybody can be included. One thing has nothing to do with the other. I mean, Drew and Kenya and Candy all have little babies, so it would only make sense that they would be asked. I don't feel like you have to invite everyone to everything. So this wasn't a Sheree Marlo thing. This was, some mommy stuff. Y'all are not, Sheree's kids are grown. Marlo has nephews, and they're damn near grown. They're not little nephews. So they're sitting around talking, and Sheree shares with them what happened with, Kenya. Whew, I get these names so confused. So Kenya shares with them what happened with Sheree and Tyrone and how he stood her up in Philly. Okay. Candy is like, well, he probably staying with another woman, which she keeps saying that, but at the end of the day, he's been in jail for 3 years, and so he's not in any type of rush to get out. He's been in jail for 3 years, and he comes out to celibacy. That's interesting. Her too. She had her life on hold for all this time for this man, and he comes home to. That's why I know y'all full of shit, because that's okay. So Marlo's setting up her pity party for Sheree. She running around her house. She's setting up a shopping experience because apparently she's the Fendi Batman, and whenever she sends out her Fendi Bat signal, the Fendi people come to her house or wherever she needs to come with all the Fendi shit. So while she's getting her house all together, she decides to FaceTime with Kenya, find out where Kenya is, because they did have a conversation together about doing this. So Kenya is laying up in her bed trying to sound as pitiful as she can. She says she's sick and she is not coming. In her defense, she did say that when she was at lunch with Drew. And that was before she went to the mommy nation thing. So she did mention prior to that she hadn't been feeling well. So, at the end of the day, she didn't feel like going to the pity party. It's stupid. Y'all will be fine. She says she's sending some things with Drew. So, you and Sheree have a good night. I don't think it's that serious. She's over there. She didn't have to fly her child to New York, spend time. I'm sure that in itself was an experience. So the last thing she probably wants to do is go sit around with some bitches that she's not really friends with to have a pity party about this fake ass relationship of Sheree holding out on some nigga that just got out of jail and he's standing her ass up. Sure, I don't blame Kenya. I wouldn't have went to that shit either. So now that her and Drew are besties, she sent Drew over there to, do whatever it was that she was supposed to do, I suppose. Marlo don't want to hear it and she don't believe her. So she gonna call her fake ass when she hangs up the phone, because now she's the only real friend for Sheree. Sheree, Kenya's not your real friend, so I'm the only real friend. Even Drew, who was having it out with Kenya, was there for her and not having it out with Sheree. Even Drew, who was having it out with Sheree, was there for her more so than Kenya was, because she couldn't be bothered to come. And her face was in full beat. So I don't know how sick she was, because she had her whole makeup glam done. Anyway, Senya and her mother are at the grocery store shopping for the dinner. They talking shit about Drew. And Drew and Marlo. Drew showed up to Marlo's house with some eggs, I guess, for them to make cupcakes with. Why are they making cupcakes? They ordered out the food. How come they just didn't order out like a whole thing? Like, I don't want to come over there and eat some cupcakes out of a box that Marlo made. That's even more depressing. Anyway, Drew came over there. So Sonia and her mom at the store talking shit about Drew. Drew and Marlo over at Marlo's house talking shit about Sanya. Kenya did manage to squeeze out when she was telling Marlo that she was sick, that they went to the photo shoot because, because Sonia said she bonded with her and Candy so much. And so that's why they were the only ones invited. And so while Drew was over there, she talked to her again some more about how, Sonia invited her and then uninvited her. So I'm dizzy. Marlo said that Sonia's only like inviting Candy and Kenya for followers, and that's a possibility. But I mean, if it's business, then you need people with followers. That's why you do that. Like, plus y'all don't have no kids. I just don't understand. And Drew was invited. She just got uninvited because they were on the outs. So did she invite Drew for followers too? Because so Sonia then, invited her though to the cookout, to the dinner get together, but Drew says she declined it. She just saying fake, and she thought that was fake. And Sonia's not being a good loyal friend, and so she don't do fake, so she's not doing it. And like I said, I don't know why they don't just have a conversation. If they're gonna try to be friends, like stop trying to have the talk at dinner parties and stuff. I mean, we can still film it. Let's just don't do it at a dinner party. We don't need 30 people standing around listening to us argue back and forth about why we don't want to be friends with each other. Marlo says she's so impressed by Drew and how she's standing up for Sheree. And I like Drew. And I'm like, why is Marlo acting like she didn't know Drew? Like, wasn't she there for Bolo? She was there for that. Wasn't she there for that whole, fallout between Portia and Drew been here for a while, so now we gonna act like we don't know Drew, like we're just getting to know Drew. Drew came to the house and she's like, drop it with Drew, drop it with Drew. She's so fake and phony. You saying you don't do fake, but you over here at the house of fakeness. So Sheree's still at her house in her PJs. And so now we sitting up here watching Sheree eat potato chips. Because this is why we had her come back on the show. We're literally watching her talk about how she likes the salt levels on her potato chips. So Marlo has sent a driver over there to pick up Sheree to bring her to the pity party. So Sheree gets all dolled up and gets in the black car, and they get over there. And as soon as she gets in the house, Marlo throws Kenya under the bus. Well, Kenya couldn't come because she's sick, but she was all glammed up. So I don't know why, like how sick she was supposed to be, but she couldn't have been that sick because she was in full glam. I don't know. They did this whole thing where she went shopping in her house and spent $12,000. I don't know if she really spent that $12,000 or we were just there to watch her try on the new Fendi collection or see what it's like to get styled by Marlo. I don't know what that was. They sat there and, had Marlo's giving her this pep talk. And it's so weird because I just don't see Marlo as that kind of friend. She's not that friend that just cares about you so much. And when did her, Sheree, get this close anyway? So she's just telling her, like, basically how you're such a dope person and a beautiful black Barbie, and he humiliated you. And I don't want to shame you, but he just really made a whole fool of you. And then Sheree fake cries into her hands, and because she's just not ready to let go of Tyrone because she knows that he loves her. So we had Sonya's Jamaican dinner party. Pity party's over. Now we're on to the Jamaican dinner party. And everybody, the mamas are there, and Mama Joyce is there, and Sonia's mother is there. And it's not at Sonia's house, but she has this little spot. It's so funny to me, like when somebody does something for them, they always complaining about the parking lot, complaining about, they're so high maintenance for no reason. But anyway, They get over there. Marlo comes in being loud. Yeah, man. What up, man? Oxtails, man. Jamaican, man. She just has to be seen. She can't walk in the door and say, hey. She want to be the life of the party, child. Okay, Marlo. She got her peach. She's about to work it. She working hard for that peach. And it's annoying the hell out of me. So they're sitting there talking and, Kenya, I guess, Sheree and Marlo have an attitude with Kenya because she didn't come to the pity party. So, they're going to start throwing little jabs at each other. So Kenya was asking Sonia's mother about how to pick the plantains in the grocery store. Ooh, sorry. And Sonia, she was like, I always pick the green ones. Her mother's like, no, they have to be brown. And then Marlo starts referencing like soft penises in front of people's mother. And I thought Candy was the one that was supposed to be doing too much, Marlo. But you can't even get through a doggone meal with somebody's mama without referencing blue pills and soft penises. But okay. So Marlo, she gets ready to bring up Tyrone, and Kenya was like, "Oh yeah, I told them the other day. Is it okay that I mentioned that?" And Sheree was like, "Well, I probably should have been the one to mention it." Okay, so you said you probably should have one to mention it, but since you did mention it, she says, and Candy didn't even call me and like say nothing. Candy's supposed to call on you and check on you because you're over there fake broken hearted. You sound crazy. Candy was like, I was waiting for you to say something. Like, I'm not even calling people up saying, oh, so I heard about, when did Sheree and Candy become friends? Because the last time we seen Sheree, she was dropping bones, saying stuff about Candy that wasn't nice. So, or at least trying to spread rumors about Candy. I don't understand her deal with Candy. Like, since the season has started, she's like trying to make up a reason to have an issue with Candy. It's weird. She was mad. I mean, even with the whole thing about not telling her what Drew said, she said sorry, and I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. But even that wasn't enough. So for some reason, Sheree has a heart on for Candy, and it looks stupid. But so does Marlo, and Kenya too. She's got this energy towards Kenya. Sheree was like, even Drew called me, and we're not even cool like that. Well, of course, Drew called you. She's messy, and she was calling you to get all the tea, so she could go back, and her and Anthony could sit around and pretend to be glamming and talk about your shit, about how embarrassed you should be for sitting outside waiting for this ex-felon to come meet you down to the restaurant in the cold in Philadelphia. That's why she called you. Candy was trying to stay out of your business, the business that you claim that you was trying to keep so private. I can't keep up with you, Sheree. I don't know what your emotions are. And then she calls out Kenya for not coming to the pity party. And she said something about, and why did you have on full glam? And I'm like, Sheree, you didn't even see the full glam. That's what Marlo said. I mean, she did have full glam, but this isn't even something you've seen. You go by what your girl over here said. And the whole time Marlo is shooting Kenya this look like with daggers. I'm like, dang, you mad at her for what? I don't even like Kenya. It's crazy. I don't know, something going on. For everybody is coming as Sonya, girl. Everybody is coming as Sonya for coming for Drew, but Sheree, I feel like started this season coming for Drew, and now she's flipped it over to Candy and Kenya. So everybody coming for somebody trying to hold a peach. So if what Sonya is doing is being clout chasing and messy, I mean, making up a reason. I guess you better make up a reason because that's what I'm saying. And people complain about it being boring. And then if it's not boring, they're making shit up. So then it's fake. So, I think Sonya is coming from as genuine a place as she can at this point. We'll see what happens next. I mean, she threw me off with that whole photo shoot thing, but we'll see. Anyway, Mama Choice told them to shut the fuck up. She was like, y'all are being stupid, arguing about whether somebody was sorry. She said sorry. Now what happened? And Sheree started talking about how she blocked Tyrone. And Mama Joyce was like, well, he needs to stay blocked because ain't no way in hell I would have waited for that nigga not even a month. You wasting too much time, for somebody who ain't even treating you right or trying to. It doesn't even make sense. Word to her, Mama Joyce. Nobody got time for that. So then we gonna get off of that, and then we gonna jump on Sonya for not inviting them to the photo shoot. So I was like, it wasn't even like that. It wasn't supposed to be like making y'all feel no type of way. But Marlo, they cut her off, leave her feeling away. And no, Marlo said, what did she tell her? Candy isn't even the type of person that bonds with you fast. So like you and Candy, you feeling close to Candy in 2 weeks, bitch, please. Or bitch, bye. So now Sonya is a bitch. And I'm like, well, okay, so you cannot dictate how somebody bonds with another person. Candy didn't bond with you because Candy don't really mess with you because you messy and you ain't easy to like be around. Maybe her and Sonya did kind of, you be around people when you click, Marlo. You don't know what that's like because you don't be on no real shit. You be on some bullshit. How can I use this person to my advantage? I think that's how you come at things. So Marlo and Sheree go outside, and that's when the shit went left. Marlo said, "Is it just me, or do you think she's up their ass?" Clout chasing because they got this many followers or that many followers. It seems strange to have women that age discussing followers though. I mean, it's a thing, obviously. I feel like even outside of tricking Candy and Kenya to do her photo shoot, like she's on this platform. So this would be a good time to go ahead and promote your business. Marlo, you have a business. You made this exclusive fashion show and talked about how you were going to exclude people from being a part of whatever it is that you got going on over there. So I've not ever looked at your website because you said right out the gate, it ain't for me anyway. I'm just a regular person, so it ain't shit, I can do for you. And Le Ranche or Le Regance or Le Elegante. I don't know what the fuck that shit is called. Anyway, because it's French. And you trying to speak French, but let's be clear, your English is challenged. I'm just saying. You and Tisha need to get over to that therapist and see what he can do for y'all. I said it. Marlo said Candy doesn't help people, and Sheree says she's just for herself. And I'm like, what did Candy even do? Why are we mad at her? Why are we mad at her? We're just mad because she did not call Sheree and say, I'm sorry to hear about what happened with you and Tyrone. That's why we're mad. I don't, and then she started going in on Candy's fucked out in Atlanta and her pussy wasn't good. And I'm like, why are two grown ass women sitting at this table discussing Candy's coochie, who she may or may not have slept with? And girl. And we're this mad because why? And then Kenya is a video hoe, and I did used to like Kenya before the show. I'm just saying, when did she become known as a video hoe though? I didn't know that was a thing. Like, Kenya been working for a long time. Let's don't downplay like all the movies and things that she's been in. And it ain't, I remember her in one video. She might have been in other videos, but that was not, she wasn't a video host, so that's stupid. Marla, what do you do? We don't know. From what I understand, you a hoe. That's all I've ever heard, and you've not done anything to like, you know, change that narrative, basically. That's what I said. What are we expecting? What is the expectation? I knew when Marlo became a part of this that this is what we were going to be getting. And Sheree is sitting up there co-signing the whole thing, and I'm like, they're not even real friends, Marlo and Sheree. They just want to sit up there and be nasty because I don't know why, because it was real tired. It wasn't no good. It wasn't no good tea. It wasn't exciting. It was weak and whack and confusing. Because y'all over here like going straight to the gutter for people who they didn't even actually do anything. Even if you were irritated, with Kenya by not coming to your little pity party for your fake ass boyfriend, even if you were irritated, she got to be a video home now. I remember back in the, I don't know how many seasons ago, but same time, the last time when Sheree was out here calling Candy a lesbian and, dungeons and things, sex dungeons and things popped up. And Marlo told Kenya, your mother don't love you. Like, that's the type of shit she does. And as much as like you don't like Kenya a lot of the time, nobody thinks that that's a cool thing to say ever, Marlo. So y'all, Drew showed up after she said she wasn't gonna show up. So, I mean, I'm guessing her and Sonya, like Drew feels solid. She made a second season, so she doesn't feel any reason to have any friendship with Sonya. And if I was Drew, I probably wouldn't either. Bitch, you already said you don't like how I move from, so let's just move separately. That's where that can be. They was cool in the beginning. They're not cool now. They don't have to be. Let's see what happens with these, I don't know, alliances, I want to say, because it seems like some people have drawn some lines in the sand, and Drew's in the middle. I guess she don't know. She don't know if she want to be recruited by Marlo and Sheree over there, or Kenya and that side of the fence. We will see. And on that one, y'all don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.